Here we are on a Friday. Not much going on. So my two main watches are Apple and Nvidia, right? You can see here all week been planning for this break and retest over 247.30 on Apple. This is a weekly level. You can see here during the pre-market, see some buyers stepping in. So really just looking for a pullback long on this level and seeing if buyers can step up and defend this again, right? Let's zoom out here on the daily, right? We are not looking to short this name. You can see we've been holding this 4-hour support very well the last pretty much this whole week. Just 244.75, right? Buyers stepping in aggressively here. So, right, it's a Friday. I doubt we'll get down here, but you can see this little bear flag. I am bullish bias as long as we're over 241.30 on this name. But if we do fall into this 244.75, you could definitely look for the scalp to the downside. But trend is your friend. We'll get there. You can see buyers stepping up aggressively here. So I'm really just looking for this on Apple. And then second close watch is Nvidia. Nvidia's the only one, right? That's pretty much at the bottom of his range, right? I like this. So right, the game plan was long over 184, short under 179. You can see buyers are stepping up aggressively here. We broke, retested, we're still holding up. So, right, I like to see that. I want to see something like this, and then I can target really this pre-market low and this daily, this 174.50, right? So, really just my main two watches coming into market open. For the fun of it, I'll show you everything else. Tesla, nothing, dead smack middle of the range, right? Literally dead smack middle of the range. AMD, our game plan was a pullback long, which is 273.30. You can see that played out perfectly, or long over this. So, I'm pretty much just watching either side, but as you can see, we are dead smack in the middle of the range. Already went over Apple, went over that. Palantir, obviously nothing. Um, Wait until 169 gets broke, 188 gets broke, but nothing there. And then Google, right? Like I said, not looking to short this name. Right? The game plan was pull back long off this 247.15, right? Clearly, you see we got that, respected perfectly. That's what you want to see, or this. So, might not touch Google today though, right? Just because it's a Friday, I don't really trade this name. Uh, I'll see if these spreads look a little different because 310 and 335 for Friday, 0 DTE, I do not like that spread. So we'll have to see. But this is still valid, right? Breaking retest over 251.50, targeting the top of this range. And then before we get into it, I'll just show down the overall market too. Uh, like I said in my pre-market plan, right? Just in a zone, right? The market's just in a channel, right? We are not doing anything. So today we're going to be open up in the middle of the previous day high, and not in the middle, but still inside bar day to start the day, right? Previous day high, previous day low. Like I've been saying, right? This 595.85 all week, right? All week has been holding this up. So if we fell this on the intraday, you can see sellers stepping in here on the Qs, right here on this 599.60. So if we fell this on the intraday, right, we could see a little bit more downside. So we'll see, right? But you see break, retest, reclaim this. So that's something I'm watching. And then for this SPY, kind of the same thing, right? Inside bar day, you can see the 659.10, the key level here to watch. If we fall into this previous day low, maybe we could see some more downside. But once again, right, just in a channel, like there's nothing going on, right? So it's a Friday. I'm really coming in very conservative. I'm not looking for any home runs, not looking for any big plays, right? Whatever happens, happens. My two main watches here is just Apple and Nvidia, right? Nvidia break under this 179, and I want to see if Apple can hold this 247.30 to the upside. I will be watching the market as well. If the market is too heavy to the downside, I'm probably just going to pass on this to Apple, right? Unless buyers really showing me their hands. But you can see we got that break retest, starting to defend it now. So I'm not going to waste my time like looking at other names and trying to force a trade. It's just one of those conditions right now. So Apple, Nvidia is my main watch going into open. We got pretty much less than a minute till market opens. I don't want to see NVIDIA rally, actually. I want to see it break outside of this channel. So obviously NVIDIA stays above 179.45. We're hands off this name. And then, yeah, just looking for a pullback long on Apple. See if buyers can step in. Gonna be patient. As we know, I do not trade that first 2 minute candle. I really try and avoid trading the first 5 minutes, but definitely that first 2 minute candle, I do not touch. So, if we can see like a big pop, right, on Apple, and then like a pullback, I like that. So that's something I'm looking for here. Market's about to open in 6 seconds. See, this I didn't want to see on the video, right? We're just back in this range. I mean, you can see Apple really just trying to stay strong and hold above this 247.30. If we fall under this, I'm not looking to short it. The only name I'm really looking to short is NVIDIA. Overall market's pulling back at open, so buyers have been trying to defend this, but just the market and Apple has not been able to align really at open. The market's just been opening pretty heavy. Like right now, Qs compared to Apple, this is a lot of relative strength right now. Look at that. This wick, this big wick, that's a buyer stepping up aggressively. Very aggressive. That's what you want to see. So I'm hoping to get like more displacement just so we can have a swing high to kind of target. But this is what you want to see. That's beautiful. See? I'm telling you, Apple's just not ready to be shorted. Price action's crap, for sure. It's crappy. See, that's what I want to see. See this big wave? This is buyers saying, no, I am here. Right? That's beautiful. First candle, look at that. 247 up to 249. It's beautiful. This I don't want to see, but fortunate. I'm just say pull back on Apple. I just want to see that video fell under 179. At this point, I don't even care what it does. I just want it to get out of the channel. Fun of it. Since I have nothing else here, just so you can see the cues as well. So if I do play Apple and get that pullback, playing pretty much at the money cons to Friday. So you pretty much have to play at the money cons because right now, one strike price out of the money, these things aren't even a buck. 0.75, that's terrible. I did not want to see this bounce here on the video, right? But shows you the power of channels, right? Like these key levels hold. I really wanted the video to kind of get that breakout. Nothing on AMD. Qs can get over this 599.60. That would be nice because this is also the pre-market high. You can see there's a lot of resistance right there. So, to see that turn into support would be good. SPY's breaking through the high of day, so that looks pretty solid. So the thing is, you want to see like some momentum candles as well, because if Apple chops around, like I have to pass on this, right? Like, we're trading at 0 GTE. We do not want to get chopped around on that. See all this resistance in here at 599.60, right? We could break through that. That would be solid. Just because, obviously it's the high day and it's the pre-market high. It's a good confluence there. See, even if Apple comes down and like retest this, right, I kind of might have to be hands off. You don't want to get into 0 DTE with crappy price action. Like you need 0 DTEs to work right away, right? So that's just something that I'm mindful of. Tesla in the intraday looks good, but dead smack middle of the range. So avoiding that. But that first 15-minute candle went from pretty much 423 up to 430. Still pushing. Nothing for me there though. I mean, yeah, the market's been kind of in a range, but all week, right? Our thesis has been 100% correct all week on this 247.30 on Apple. Just crappy price action. It's been correct all week. So seeing Qs here might get a break. If it does, I'm open to this on Qs just because this is a big break. This 5. It's a big breakout. Let me see what the SPY's pushing heavy too. I mean, if Apple just wants to go after it breaks through the high day, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, I don't trade the first 2-minute candle. You see, that's what we ended up getting. So nothing I could do there about that. You can see buyers are here, right? We haven't had one red down close candle yet on the Qs. Right, this is a strong level right here. This is our pre-market high. If we can get over this, that would be solid. See what happens when we reject here? Look at everything else, right? Look at that. Let's see what Google's doing. Yeah, nothing for me there. But you see this, right? Look at this pre-market high, this intraday high, right? This is a key level right here. This 599.60 on the intraday, you see that? That's a key level. We can get over that, we can see more upside. For sure. Big rejection there. As long as Q's is falling hard, I'm not really open to touching this. Yeah, Q's and SPY is pulling back pretty heavy. Maybe, hopefully we can see like a lower day bounce, but you can kind of see Q's and Apple are pretty much in sync. Kind of everything's in sync, honestly. Look at the video, look at QQQ. That's pretty much identical. Look at that. Only name I'm really looking to short is NVIDIA. We saw this yesterday, like a big lower day bounce on the Qs. I see buyers stepping up here. I just need a deeper pullback, right, for 0 GTE. I'm not messing around with this. At the money cons aren't too bad. They're the ask, but pretty much 150, $1.50 for at the money. Yeah, both SPY and the Qs pretty heavy. If I have to try and defend this on Apple, they're trying. I don't want to see a low day bounce here on uh on the Qs. We got pretty much 2 more minutes until a new 15-minute candle forms, so I kind of want to see what that does. But see Qs here. If we see this lower day break, right? These contracts are so terrible on Apple. Delta's 51. It's not too bad. Yeah, I might have to pass on Apple. These contracts are just like too cheap for me. And they're dropping in value somewhat quick. I mean, obviously, right? They're about $1.20. Let me see. Yeah, these contracts are just too cheap for me. You can see Q's starting to probably try and hold that. All right, Apple trying to hold. Market's just too heavy a little bit. You see buyers really trying to defend this. I think the market's just too heavy. If Q's can hold this 595.85, which looks good, I can see some upside. Yeah, SPY is under its low of day. This key low is defending well. Yeah, this new 15-minute candle on Apple just doesn't look good. You see buyers trying to step in and defend, right? You see Q's trying to defend this 595.85. So It's just hard to take a shot here with like the market just looking the way it does, and Apple just being so slow. Like if anything, I'd rather pass and just trade the overall Qs in the SPY because Qs in the SPY doesn't move that well on the underlying, so those contracts won't hurt you as much on the 0DTE. It's very important to know these things. See, I was trying to hold for sure. Qs is holding this 595.85 pretty well. Give this a shot. Nice. Apple looks solid on this 15. Nice. It's not messing around with that. It's a solid trade. It's a scout. I'm not looking to mess around. Quick 1600 bucks on Apple. Very unfortunate these plays are like on Friday. Right? Break retest. Um, I'd have held, but bro, I'm not messing with that. I'm just not comfortable with that on a 0DTE. The way I trade Thursdays and Fridays are defensive days, right? Could have held that. I saw buyer step in, I took it. But as you can see, right, what caused this? Q's holding this 595.85. Right, pull back long, it held that. Right, any tech name out there? Apple's the last name I would everyone to trade on a 0DTE, which is funny. Right? Like, just nothing. Honestly, could have looked for a pullback along here. I actually like that. Quick 1600 bucks, very small day. I'm not messing around with these. And you see what's causing this hesitation right here? Q's pushing up into this 599.60. It's been a weird week, man. Like, I personally hate trading 0DTEs. And what I mean by, I'm sure for those who know, but what I mean is, right, you have to, like, we know how Apple moves, right? On the 0DTE, like, it has to work right away, right? It has to work right away. Because then if it starts to chop, right, once you start getting that move in your favor, like, either you're going to be a little green, you're still going to be red, or you're just like, that theta kicks in fast. Any other day, we can hold this, right? Because Apple's just a slow mover on the underline. So I did not go into this looking to hold. Right? But beautiful break, retest, continuation. 2 days in a row, I've taken a scalp on like yesterday was Q's, the day before that was SPY. And then as soon as I sold, we got that sell off. So it's like knowing to, you know what I mean? Like just knowing when to overstay your welcome and when to like treat it as a scalp. Like that was a quick 1600 bucks in a couple of seconds. I can't really complain over that. Right? Yesterday we sat in our trade, we let it gravitate towards high of day, and then we made our decision to either scale out or continue, right? So that's why I have these live sessions so you can go back and like you're gonna treat each day differently based on the day itself, right? Fridays, we are not looking to be conservative like this. I'm sorry, we are looking to be conservative. Like on this trade, I scaled down to roughly 10K. So that was like a 16% trade if I made 1600 on the dot, right? Once it started to work and we got that push, got out, right? Yesterday, what do we have? We had time on our side. Those contracts really didn't do much, but what do? We sat in our trade until the high day approached and we scaled out, right? The video's trying to hold up, but kind of unfortunate. And this is why it's a little difficult. I'll explain this to like trade on Fridays, or I mean, you can always play next week cons, right? Because remember, your higher time frame key levels, you're not going to get that pullback to the dot. So it's like if you pull back here and you see sell, buyer step in, you can take the shot, right? And you're only risking below here, right? So that's a good RR. You're looking for the high day, and then really the back of the top of this range, right? It's hard to do that play on a 0DTE, right? So this is a good pullback long. Like buyer stepped in, right? As long as you're above this 22730, your thesis is valid. This is kind of why I got out of Apple. I mean, I definitely could have held this a little bit longer, but I do not get greedy on 0DTEs. Right? Look at Qs, right? I told you, we get over the 600, everything else is going to follow. I'm hoping for another trade, like a pullback long off this. So I will be watching this. Q's contracts are more expensive than the than Apple. 60. All right, good shot here on Apple, right? This was a solid trade. Solid trade. We took out because we saw Q's hold this 595.85. Buyer stepped in. Like that was a quick 16% on that. Like I'll take that. Yeah. Could have had a scalp move towards high day. Um, but just a name like Apple, dude. Like a names like Apple, you can't trust that on the underlying. And like on the intraday, right? Just the way the price action moves on that. I told you we get above this would be a big breakout, right? That was a lot of resistance. So I'm open to a pullback long here. Of course, NVIDIA wants to trend and see this, but right, we're not surprised, right? We got this break and retest already during the pre-market on NVIDIA, and then we're holding the bottom of this, right? This is a key level for a reason. All right, the Qs are gone. I don't think I'm getting that retest. Like Qs cons is already two strike prices in the money. If you would have played at the money, that's beautiful, right? This is like this, right? These are like the 30-40% moves, right? In a matter of seconds. It's just been tough conditions right now to like really hold continuation. I honestly hate trading on Fridays, but it's been such a slow week. You know, I got to show up. See, this was nice, right? You would have caught this, right? Just trust your level. Probably play next week cons, but you're just playing like this was right. We're still intact to the upside on this name on AMD, right? This was the game plan. Pull back long to 22730. Look at this 15-minute candle, right? That's beautiful. Clearly my level didn't get hit, but I want to show you like sometimes, right? What I do is scale down, give it more room, play next week cons, however you want to go about it. Your strike price matters, and as long as you take a long, right, and you're above this 227, your thesis is valid, right? This is a 100% trade on a 0DT, right? Look at that. As soon as we pulled back here, not one red down close candle. See, Apple did this crap yesterday. Tesla looks good. Unfortunately, it's in the middle of a range, but the Tesla's already moved from 423 to 434. Right? I mean, actually, never mind. That's nothing to really wag your tell about. Tesla's been stuck in a $10 to $12 range all week. So never mind. I take that back. But still, these two 15-minute candles look crazy. I'm just going to assume this is a misprint. But I hope me explaining this makes sense, right? Like, of course, on a regular day, any any day before Friday, like we just did yesterday, we took our shot and we held this until we got to our high day. But on a 0DTE, right, you're kind of just not messing with this. The overall market is in a channel. You don't want to get cooked, right? That's pretty much it. You just don't want to get cooked. So like almost a 20% trade here, I would take that and just go about my day. Let's see, what is SPY doing? SPY's fell in 66180. That's kind of the only thing. Right, if SPY can stay over the 66180, we can see more upside. Right, but look, pull back long, right? We're just still bullish to the upside. But we would need it to hold over this because it'll also go with a pre-market high. So I think this rejection right now is what we're seeing, right, on the Qs. See, Apple's just doing this, right? Like this is beautiful for a scalp, right? As we know, Apple moves super slow on the underline. So, these slow grind moves really don't pay much. Let's see. All right, waiting for buyers to step in. Got a pop. That was that. This failure you see on the Qs is what you see right here, the 66180 rejection on the SPY. Big rejection there. I really don't even know why I'm looking at a video. Damn, bro, these misprints are annoying. That's not a real candle. That's a misprint. It has to be. You can see here, right? I mean, we're just stuck in between 661 and 659 on the Qs. I'm sorry, on the SPY. Very slow week. Let's see. Like SPY and the Qs has been doing this like every market open. Like we'll look like we'll start to trend, and then we just get that big sell off, right? NVIDIA I'm open to. It's only 701 for me. If everything wants to stay heavy a little bit, uh, that can look really good. Now, this hold is no surprise, right? Like I said, all week, 595 has been what's holding the Qs up, right? Really wish I was looking at this, playing a pullback long off of this level, right? That's the key trade right there. This is like the key level. This was okay. This was the A plus. Like this was the A plus long entry, to be honest. I'll pull back long off this 595.85. Let me show you why, right? Let's go into 15 all week. Look at this, right in the pre-market climb, right? All week, even today on the intraday, this 595 has been holding the Qs up. So I should have paid attention to this, to be honest. This was the A plus long entry, right? Good break, retest. This was a misprint candle. Look at that. I do not want to look at that. Break, retest, beautiful. So we should take this trade with this candle looking like that. You can see Apple's just starting to chop around. So I hope this makes sense, right? My whole thing on here was like I didn't care to hold to this idea because you just never know with Apple. And then with zero DTEs, you have to sell into momentum pushers, right? SPY can get over 66180. This thing looks really good, to be honest. But all week, this is our key level here. All week, right? Every trade that I've taken this week on Apple has just literally been off this 247.30 all week. I'm seeing if I'm pretty much done for the day, to be honest. I'm pretty much just waiting to see if SPY can break over the 661. Nice, right? Beautiful. Of course, Apple wants to do this on Friday. Of course. I've noticed that 2 weeks in a row. Well, actually, last week was our sell-off day. Right? This trade that we entered, this is what we were looking for yesterday. Right? This is what we were looking for yesterday. I just took the same trade, right? Just different conditions. This is what we were looking for yesterday. And then, right, you're still in full position. You scale out 90% there. And then you hope your runners can either give you more continuation or you let your runners stop you off for break even. Right? This is the same trade we took yesterday. This misprint screwed me up, not gonna lie. This is a beautiful like break retest off this 259. I'm sorry, 599.60. This is textbook. That's exactly what we were looking for. I was just looking for that. I'm not gonna force another trade though, but I hate scalping, bro. Teach your own. I hate scalping. I see buyers stepping in here. I'm sorry, sellers. Only thing holding the Qs up is SPY not being able to get over the 661. It's the only thing. This was the A plus trade. That's on me. I should have been paying attention better. I was just looking at Apple. I was locked in on Apple, reading the price action down here. This was like really the A plus opportunity. This pullback long off this 595.85. That's on me. That's 100% trade, right? 0 that's 100% trade. These cons even went in the money. Really nice recovery here on Tesla, to be honest. Let's look at this. Hold on. And then for Qs right now, look at this. Key resistance, right? We can break over this. I wouldn't mind playing a break and retest over that, right? That's a key level. Look at Tesla, right? The same's not ready to be shorted. You know, we fell under the previous day low, right? We fell all the way down to 415. I've been saying 410 has been holding the same up. And then look at this recovery, break, retest, upside, right? Back in this channel. But this name is not ready to be shorted, right? Buyers just keep stepping up down here on this 410. So love to see that. Apple, I hate Apple. It's a love-hate relationship with Apple because Apple respects technical analysis so well, so well. But on the intraday, it's like it's hard to trade that name on a smaller time frame. It's a great ticker for swing trades. It's a great stock for swing trades, right? You don't want to swing trade a name like Tesla or Meta, like that just moves very aggressively on the underlying, right? A slow mover on the underlying, it's beautiful, right? Because the risk to reward is better. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. But if you win and those cons start going in the money, you just get paid 10 times more. So Apple's like a really good name for swing trading, in my opinion. I'm not really gonna force a trade. I'm looking for a long off of this, but you see we got that break, good displacement. The retest momentum was like right here, right here. If we can get over the 602.87, I like it. I might be done for the day though. I don't want to force anything. right? And that's the part. Like zero GTEs can be fun, right, if you know how to trade them right. But my advice to anyone, because when I first started and like I had a small account, we're all trying to trade the SPY and the Qs, right? Because the contracts are cheap. It's a zero GTE. You're gonna make money faster. Obviously, you can lose money faster. But the one main thing I've learned with those is you can't treat that like a Monday through Thursday, right? Where you hold and then you scale out at your profit target and then you look to hold for continuation. You really have to sell those until momentum pushes and just ride the momentum and then get out, right? Because as soon as it goes against you, you're down already on a slight pullback, right? It hurts. I've been there. So like this is what I was kind of expecting after this little push, right? So my advice to anyone, like if you're trading zero GTEs, right, either scale down tremendously so you don't even care if you take a 20% loss, right? Scale down tremendously, or right, you have to treat them like scalps. Like get in and get out, right? Like a quick 1600, right? Those calls almost went like 20%, right, in a matter of seconds. Right? You got to know like when to get in, when to hold. Yesterday we tried to hold, right? And it was scrappy price action. We pulled back, we consolidated, we continued a little bit, right? Watch the live session from yesterday, right? We took the exact same trade. The only difference is we ended up holding that into the high of day. And we waited to see what the price action would do. We scaled out, we got stopped out for break even on our cons, right? Practice good habits, right? But on a Friday, you can't do that. I mean, you can just scale down, right? We're playing with fire, just know that much. So right now, the only thing that's holding this up is SPY, the 66180. NVIDIA looked promising during pre-market, but as you can see, we're just holding this level, right? Look at this. Break, retest, continuation higher. I mean, that's textbook. I was hoping we would fall under this and then we could target the pre-market low. Guess here. I mean, pre-market low, that's 100% return, right, on a zero. So we'll see. Might be done for the day though, to be honest. This missed like this, right? I watch tape too. I watch film too, and if I could redo anything, it would really be focusing on this. I don't regret this, right? This is an A+ level. We've been waiting for this level all week, but all week 595.85 on the dot has been holding the Qs up, right? So this pullback long, I mean, look at that. That's 10 minutes of straight bullish, right? That's 100% trade right there. That's the only thing I wish I really paid attention to. Like SPY and the Qs are really the only thing I try and touch on a Friday. Tesla too. Tesla pays you very well, as we know. It's a hard one to trade on a Friday. I typically play two strike prices in the money because those contracts move so volatile in the underlying, but let's see. So we'll see what Tesla does. I doubt it to do anything, but this is what Tesla's looking like right now. Right, on the intraday looks good. Right, will we get a 445 break? We'll see. We got all this resistance up here though that we keep hitting. Right, so Tesla's looking strong. Momentum's definitely looking strong. Okay, so what you're seeing now is SPY just broke over the 661.80. That's exactly what we wanted to see. If Qs breaks over this, I'm very open to that. All right, really good entry down here, right? Just reading the price action, I saw buyer step in. But the only reason I took this shot is because I saw buyer stepping in on this 595.85. So my mind was just so focused on reading the price action and simultaneously reading this to see if buyers are stepping in aggressively. This is the trade I really should have took the Qs. See what we get here. I mean, Tesla looks good, right? After hours low was at 415, and now it's sitting at 437. It's in our no trade zone, so it's all noise, but let's see. The highest it made this week was 440. So $5 away from our breakout level. You can see Apple starting to go. Like, of course, Apple gives us this setup on a Friday, right? Of course. I'm watching Qs here. I would be open to a short, I mean, a long here. I'm not going to force it, but I would be open to that. Right? Like, of course, Apple gives us this move on a Friday. Of course. Bro, where were you all week? We've been waiting for you all week, and you want to do this on a Friday. Crazy. Can't make this up. Okay, so everything's looking pretty strong. I doubt we'll get there in the Qs. I mean, on Tesla. Maybe it's just my Tesla bias. Yeah, this is the highest it's made this week, 440. Looks solid though. Look at these 15-minute candles, right? Looks really solid, not gonna lie. When Tesla breaks this, like you guys want to give us every setup on a Friday. I don't think it will, but if Tesla does break this, just if it does, I'm playing next week cons. I can't take this move on a zero GTE, right? I can't. right? So in real time, just trying to like teach you, um, you stay in this trade with your runners, right? This pullback doesn't matter. This is like pretty much your new stop loss on your runners, right? It's a green trade. It can't go red. So if you got runners and you get this pullback, this is about like this has to be retested. This is a key level in the intraday. So a break and retest on this is a valid, right? It's a pullback, right? We still got to step higher. Look at the dips getting bought up. I see sellers stepping in here, but I mean, this gets over the previous day high. It's crazy. There is a little relative strength here on Tesla, for sure. For sure. It's tough to be in this trade on Apple and a 0 DTE. We saw how Apple moved all week. It's hard to do that. So my mindset taking this trade was just looking for a quick scalp. The market's in a range, this and that. I tried it yesterday. I just didn't get that continuation, right? I just want to break down the difference, right? Weak breakout equals fake out, right? This is why we wait for proper displacement. I mean, that's nothing to get excited about. I mean, it's done this. Today's like the most it's moved. We went from 415 to 438. It's a good amount on Tesla, but you can see, Wednesday and Thursday we get up here and that's occurred, right? So I mean, if it takes out this liquidity and this liquidity, see Tesla looks good though. It's not far. I'm watching this. You can clearly see the relative strength here on Tesla compared to the overall market. Tesla looks strong. If we break over this, I'm like a kid in a candy store. Clearly the relative strength here, right? I mean, just clearly. Q's a little slow, but you can see we are stair stepping. It's respecting the key levels very well. We had a double bottom here, right? It's holding very well, right? This is just a retest. You would want to see this hold on Apple, then you target this one high. Nvidia's trending, but in the middle of a range, so we don't care about that. Big breakout here. I'm not saying it'll happen, but if it does, I have to take my shot. I have to. If we get a break with displacement, I got to take my shot there. Price action is very clean today. Obviously, there's no trade zone. I'm hands off. I'm sure some people probably took a 5-minute RB on this name, um, right? And then if you fell under here on Apple, you would just cut the rest of your runners. That's pretty much it. But decent price action all around today. Just Nvidia's in the zone, but you can see we're trending higher. We're stair stepping. You can see Apple starting to do the same thing or trying to. Clearly, you can see Q's stair stepping higher. Um, and then clearly you can see Tesla stair stepping higher. So if we get over this 445 today, I'm taking my shot on that. I have to. I don't care. I would take this loss. I got to give that a shot. I'm not going to chase it, right? Still going to wait for proper displacement, something like this. You can see, right, we're so strong, though. We're really not even going to retest. So we'll see. This key level you see, this is what is this? This is Wednesday's high. This is the highest it's made all week, right? So looks good. And we just made a new high today for the week. I've been saying, right? Just got to be patient, but Tesla was just not ready to be shorted. We're not really in an area to wag our tail, right? This is like dead smack in the middle of our no trade zone. Dead smack. Nothing in there at all. SPY is not that good looking as well, but it is stair stepping higher. And then keep in mind, right? Price is in a range, right? Whenever we are in between the previous day high and the previous day low, price has not continued higher or lower, right? We're still sitting in a range. So remember that. right? You want to see buyer step up here, right? This dip get bought up, right? That's just a break and retest over this. This is valid. You hold that. A lot of relative strength here. I will say that. I mean, the end of the week, this would be crazy. At the end of the week, if NVIDIA reclaims this weekly level has been resistance all week, that would be crazy, right? This is what we were looking for yesterday on Apple, right? Pull back long, beautiful, retest, buyer step in, right on the dot. I've been saying that, right on the dot. Look for continuation, high day. You never would have got stopped out for break even on your runners. Get that, you still hold this. So maybe you could sell another position, A runners into this pop, and then hold that. But and then this would be your new stop loss, right? This is our no trade zone. If we see a sell off here, really not surprised, but NVIDIA looks solid. Big pullback here. Let's not be surprised. Let's not be surprised. History repeats itself. Look at that. Let's not be surprised, right? All these, right? Look at all these wicks that step in here all the time, right? Look at that on the dot. Let's not be surprised. That just shows you how sweet this 445 is, man. As soon as we get this break over that, I'm telling you, Tesla's gone. Of course, we get beautiful market structure on Apple today, but this is right. This is beautiful. Break, retest, continuation higher. That's what you want to see. Of course, on a Friday, right? Maybe some people took a break and retest over this 5 minute, but this is why I say like to take trades off of key levels because this is the key entry here, right? Look at your risk to reward. You're basically catching this at the bottom or at a key level, right? So you catching this, targeting up here, or getting that continuation versus this, scalping to up here, right? You tell me what's the bigger R. Because on a regular day, we're looking for continuation to the top of this range, right? Last 2 weeks have been a little tough, slow. Right? Look at that on the dot. That's why we don't chase, right? We're stuck in a range here. We just let it come to us. Intraday looks good for sure. Zoom out, get the bigger picture. Beautiful on Apple. Trying not to be annoyed that it gave us the setup on Friday, but right. Understand the market conditions, right? Like don't underestimate the power of base hits. Like this has been a slow week for me, but I've made roughly 3 grand just off like quick scalps, right? Slow week for sure, but don't underestimate the power of like those base hits. No, when to step on the gas, when to not. Like right, if you catch this on a 0 DTE, right, and then you get into like this candle, I'm telling you, this big pullback on the theta as well, dude, these hurt you. You'll go up from being. I just went through this like I think 2 weeks ago. I took a trade on Apple, yeah, and I think it's posted on my channel, and I was up like 30+%, and on one pullback candle, barely. Those contracts dropped to like 19%, just that fast. So, right, all this is easy to say like in hindsight, like oh you should hold this and that, but do not practice those habits on 0 DTEs. I'm telling you. Let's see. I mean, beautiful in the video, to be honest. Right, just this is just in the video right now though. Looks good, right? Maybe you can play the bottom of this range. I don't play channels though, but right, looks solid. Up over the previous day high. We can see these two. This is like a daily double top. We need to get over that. Let's zoom out here on the daily. Right, Monday and Tuesday. I mean, this is really the key levels right here. So still in the channel. Right, no surprise here on this wick. Right, that should be no surprise. Let me see what AMD is doing. I mean, our pre-market plan worked beautifully. My alert never went off. Obviously, I had an alert set, but right, I just said like we're just not looking to short this name. We're not looking to short. Right, pull back long. Right, you can aim for this high day. Beautiful. Like I said, it sucks these kind of set up on a Friday. As soon as you start to see like this pullback, you definitely scale out, right? Because you don't want to get killed on theta. And then you look to hopefully hold, target this high day, right? We break, now we hold this high day as support, right? And top of this range. So on a regular day, like on a Monday or Tuesday, right? Just any day besides a Friday, like these are the plays that we were looking for and that we look for that pays us very well, right? Just taking trades off these high time frame key levels. Right, we set together all week, very slow market conditions, everything pretty much set in the range. We did get our break on AMD over this all-time high, right? We just never got that retest. I think that was what was that? Wednesday? Yeah, I think it was Wednesday. All right, let's zoom out here. What day was that? Oh, this one. Yeah, it was this. Right, we were watching this. Go back and watch that live session. Got that breakout, never got that retest, right? So You can see today, right, pre-market plan, like we're not looking to short this name. Beautiful pullback long. You take this target high day on a regular day. That's an easy trade, easy hold, right? You can risk under this. You don't have to worry about theta. Time's on your side. Just unfortunate these plays kind of set up on a Friday. That's why we don't chase, right? Look at this. That's why we don't chase. Like, are we surprised this happened? Right? Not at all. Are we surprised this happened? We've been seeing this all week. Are we surprised? No. Like I said, Tesla's been cool, right? If you want to scalp it, right? Yesterday, the day before yesterday, easily could have taken a scalp over this 436.30. We know this is a key level, right? But we want those RR plays, right, to play out. Those 30-40% plays to play out. And these are just low market conditions right now, right? Just stuck in the channel. So I'm happy we're just able to like see this in real time on why we avoid these, why we don't wag our tail. Like I said, all this is noise as long as 410 doesn't get hit, 445. Everything else is just noise. I'll show you the SPY, right? SPY doesn't look good, but it is stair stepping higher, right? But let's zoom out here. We're dead smack in the middle of the range, right? This is the previous day high. This is the previous day low. Look where SPY is. It's dead smack in the middle of the range, right? There's nothing going on. Dead smack in the middle of the range. Pretty good entry, but not gonna lie, like this, right? And this, and these were textbook plays. Sucks it happened on a Friday, but these are like pretty much the best plays of the day, to be completely honest. Really the best plays of the day, right? And just both off of key levels, right? Right. So on a normal day, we know, all right, Tesla is I'm sorry, Apple's a slow mover on the underlying. We have our runners, we're just sitting, and we would hope that our runners can like turn into a swing position, right? And gravitate higher, right? You get that continuation, your runners are going to make you more than your entire position, right? This is a break and retest off a weekly level. That's what we've been waiting for. Of course, it happens on a Friday, but still, right? Level to level, right? That's how price moves. It gravitates, right? Level to level. But context matters. Why has it been hard all week? Look at look at the cues, right? It's just been. Let me go to an empty chart just so we can get a better visual, right? This is starting from Monday this week, right? Every day has practically been, right, just like an inside bar day, pretty much, right? Like there's just nothing, right? Does this look like the market is trending? And then we've been seeing how in sync these tech names have been with the cues, right? Look at that. So this is not a surprise, right? We're just stuck in this channel. This is how you have to know when to step on the gas, when to step on the brakes, when to ease up, right? It was easier when this market was just trending, right before that sell-off. But we got the government shutdown, we got tariffs going on with China. Like it's just a lot of uncertainty in the air. So everyone else is just, they're on brakes, right? Understanding that really makes it a lot easier. Right, look at this key level, the 602.87, get respected perfectly. It did yesterday and same today, right? Beautiful. Tesla, not surprised, right? Look at this big, look at this. Maybe on the intraday, if you trade off ORBs, I guess technically this would kind of be, yeah, you get a breakout. I guess you're playing the reclaim here. To me, this is not really a break and retest. Like we broke it, we failed. I would wait for another retest to hold, but to each their own. Right, and then yesterday I took this Apple trade into the high day. Those cons barely went like 11%. Today they moved very fast. That was like almost a 20% trade, right? So like this on a regular day looks solid. Like this looks solid. As long as we hold this, my runners would just have to. And then honestly, if you're really looking for the big picture, like the bigger high time frame, like continuation, really, because it's off a weekly level, right? I always say I'm looking for potential swing trades off weeklies. Really, what you're looking for is like you would have to let your runners stop you out down here, right? So since theta, all that, you get that pullback. There's a little chance that depending on where in the week, your runners may go red before it hits your entry point, right? Because you have to factor in theta, and those contracts will lose some value on the way back. But if you're looking for like those swing trades, the bigger position, you sell like 90% into these big pops, and then your stop loss on the rest is just where your entry point was, right? Clearly, you cannot do that on a Friday. Clearly, right? And the way the market conditions are right now, like I knew these contracts would move very slow if I played next week cons, right? Expecting clean price action on Apple. That's just tough. I know a lot of people don't even trade Apple. Like some people don't even look at it. Let me see. Yeah, I think that might be it for me. It's a Friday. It's already 7:40 for me. Quick day for me. Quick 1600. Nothing cute, honestly. It's kind of frustrating, but part of the game, right? Just be patient, take your setups. We don't control the timing. We don't control what happens when we're in a trade. The only thing we control is, right, our risk and our emotions. That's pretty much it. I would have loved to get this yesterday, right? But I just keep banking on this because I want you to be able to understand how I treated these differently, right? Yesterday we took this instant retest, we held, right? We scaled out at the high day, right? That was our setup. So today, the trade that we took yesterday is pretty much what we were looking for. We just didn't end up getting it. But what I do want you to also realize is how these key levels are being respected, right? I mean, that was our opening candle. We broke that down together, right? Look at this curl, right? I mean, this is textbook, right? This is what we're looking for throughout the week. Unfortunately, happened on a Friday, but this is like textbook, right? That's exactly what you want to see. And then if you're trading 0GT, right, if you fell into this, you would just stop out on your runners. But from here to here, that's definitely 100% trade. From here to here, it got me 20%. I'm sure up here is maybe a 70% or something. So just channeled all around, right? Big fail here on Tesla. I'm not surprised. It looked good. If you're able to catch this scalp, you had a great day. I promise you, you sit on your hands and you wait for this break over 445, you will get paid. I promise you. Right? And don't let this fool you, right? Prices not continue higher or lower, right? We are in between the previous day high and the previous day low. Price has not continued higher or lower, right? It's just consolidated. This is nothing. This is middle of the range, right? There's nothing going on. It's a good setup today on AMD. Fortunately, my alert didn't go off, but this was a good setup. What else? Google, like we know we're not trying to short this name. We ended up getting this during the after hours. That was beautiful. Um, Give me a sec. I mean, even on a 0GT, this page, is this enough displacement for me? 251? No, this is not enough displacement for me. But instant break retest could pop. But on the intraday, you can see, right, this thing's moving higher. We're not looking to short Google. We just made new all-time high, so I do expect a little bit of a chop. Um, right, but you want to see the top of this range turn into support, right? But this thing looks good. It does. Looks really good. It's 599.60 is holding very well. Like if you just trade off a higher top MP levels and you scalp the Qs in the SPY, you do this correctly, you can make a lot of money, right? I just don't because these names don't move as well on the underlying, right? So Tesla early in the week, that's a name on average that moves $15 to $20 a day. So if you go long on Tesla and you take those out of the money cons, right, and they go in the money, you're gonna get paid 2x, but you're also being safe because you're not gonna get killed on theta. Like Monday, right? You saw me take roughly a 2K loss and I played 3 strike prices out of the money. Those contracts held up very well. So it's hard to like you game plan accordingly and differently when you're trading 0 TTEs, right? The SPY and the Qs on average only moves to like what $5 to $7 in a day, right? But if you just play off these levels, quick scalps, right? These are 10%. I mean, from here and with momentum, right? This is a what 50%, 40%. Like this is gonna pay very well because I saw these contracts, right? They went in the money. Like this is all you need, right? So if you're just respecting your key levels, I mean, you'll see that they hold up very well. I mean, this is what you kind of want to see on Apple. You just want to see that hold, right? Everything else is noise. And these contracts move very well. I mean, that's beautiful, right? Well, it's a Friday. They're gonna move very well, but you get what I mean. Yeah, sucks it's happening on Friday, but that's out of my control. It's nothing I can do about it. I took my shot yesterday, didn't really play out. I took a pretty much a break even small win trade, but right, I was looking for that continuation, right? Like I said, every trade that you have, it should be a big win, a small win, break even, or a loss, right? A small loss. You should never have a big loss. There's no such thing, right? You have predefined risk before you enter a trade, and you respect your stop loss. So understanding conditions, like all week, I have not went into a trade with my normal position size. I've been very conservative. 0 DTEs, I'm pretty much going in with 10K or less. Um, Understanding conditions, right? Strike prices, all those things. So treat every day differently, right? Like you plan accordingly as we get closer to Fridays, right? So someone taught me like, Mondays and Tuesdays are really the days to build cushion, right? Because you can play strike prices out of the money. You can look for that continuation. You don't have to worry about theta being a factor, right? No one's really worried about theta on a Monday or Tuesday. Let's see. Am I missing anything? Nothing here. Right, I've been saying all week, right? If you're just looking to scout, your highest probability shot on Palantir is off of 177 and 184 if you're a reversal trader, shorting that, right? Because say it with me, right? What's my favorite move, right? When we fell at key level, these are shorts getting squeezed out of their positions for a loss, right? And what does that do? Give me one sec. That fuels this move higher, right? On the reclaim. That's exactly what that does. That fuel, we see this over and over again. That's why I say you want to trade with the overall time frame, right? If we're bullish, we're bullish. Those are your highest probability shots, right? Getting squeezed out of the position for a loss. This happens all the time, right? And it's just a big fuel to the upside, right? Once this candle closes, you want to see what this next candle does, and then you take that shot. That's beautiful. There's a 100% trade, right? On a 0 GTE. Straight bullish momentum on your side. That's beautiful. Let's see. Sometimes I look at IWM. Terrible. Terrible. Right, so we saw this pretty much happen yesterday, actually, on the 15, right? We did try and hold this on the 15 yesterday. We really did. Bro, Tesla comes around like during power hour, the last hour of the day, and just breaks you 445. I'm gonna be like, come on, bro. Give me a break. I mean, these are just great. Like, I've been saying all week, really the best names to trade is to SPY in the queues, right? We're in a range, we're in a channel, but I've honestly been shocked on how clean the price action has really been. Look at this on Apple, right? Your runners, you're still in this. You never got stopped out on your runners, right? That's why I treat my key levels and my profit targets as zones, so I can have like patience and read it. Because it's hard to hold this when you just mark out a key level and we break under it, right? Like this is what we were looking for yesterday. Very unfortunate. Of course, we get on a Friday, but am I a little salty over it? Maybe a little bit, but it's cool. We made a quick 1600 off of it, so I can't complain. Right, but we can clearly see this 599 being respected, right, on the cues, on the dot. Like that's what you want to see. If we can break over the 602, we could definitely see more upside. The only thing is SPY, that 661, it's hard for that to get over. I hate Apple for that. That's terrible. Look at that. So annoying. And then the video, this is just unreal. Like just all week. All week. Monday through Friday. That's the video for it. But remember, this just happened like a month ago, right? We were avoiding the video. Like we did not touch the video at all. As long as we were just waiting for this 184.50 break. As soon as we got that, we started to trade that. But you can see all in here the reasons why we've been avoiding the video, right? And this week is the prime example. Let's go on the weekly. Let's see what this looks like. Right? Like even on the weekly, we're consolidating. Right? Even on the weekly. So what's the game plan on Monday? Literally what it was. This Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're just waiting for a break to either side. Now this market is still in place to the upside. I would love to see NVIDIA reclaim this 184.50. I don't want to see it melt to the downside, but I would love for it to reclaim that. Right? And then, less is more. My pre-market game plan, my only two close watches was NVIDIA and Apple, right? That was it. And I took my shot on Apple. It was a solid day, and that's it, right? Like less is more. I really only try and have 2 to 3 on my close watch list. It's very hard to watch, 4 to 5 things going on at the same time. You want to be able to focus, right? Read the price action, right? Wait for the break, wait for the retest. And it's just hard to do that when you're looking at 6 stocks at once. The main I only trade anyway is like, NVIDIA, Apple, Tesla, and AMD. Those are like my main ones anyway, but yeah, it's just something going on. And then, right, I know I keep saying it, but I really want to instill it in your heads. There's nothing going on here. It's just a chop. It's a choppy day. Just a choppy week, right? Great for scalping, right? Just in these conditions, these are scalping conditions. You understand that, right? I've said this before. You have to know the pros and cons to your system, and the break and retest. The cons to it is channels consolidation because you're not getting continuation on our plays, right? That's the whole point of the break and retest. It's for those continuation plays. We're just in a channel, right? On the same, right? Just in a channel. So, but the beautiful thing is like they respect their key level so well. You can just scout from key level to key level. You can scout right from the entry point to a swing high to a swing low, right? And those are big trades. Those are 10%, 20%, 30% trades, right? On the SPY and the Qs, right? I would say it's not really worth it on the tech names besides Tesla. Tesla moves so well on the underlying. That's a name you can scout, but on a name like AMD, Apple, Nvidia, right? It's just not going to get that much, percentage return, especially at the start of the week, like especially a name like Apple. So I just hope that makes sense when I break those down to you. Like, hey, if you're looking for some setups, right, just trade the SPY and the Qs and just play them off the key levels. We see this every day how they get respected, right? You watched my pre-market plan yesterday. I said this is the key level we want to see hold. Look, pull back long. This was the moneymaker. This was really the moneymaker trade. that was a thing of beauty, right? I'm sure if you got in here to hide it, that's 100% return. That was like the big trade right there. Yeah, it's about 8 o'clock for me. 7:54 to be exact. So as soon as it hits 8, I'm pretty much done. But slow day. This was beautiful. Fortunately, it happened on a Friday. I was not gonna mess around with Apple on a zero DTE. I took this trade. I think it's on my channel. I took a live trade on Apple for it was like over 2 grand. But I remember I was in the trade and those contracts instantly went up like 38%. And I was like, okay, let me try and hold to the high day. And on one pullback, it dropped to like 19% or something. Like just one candle barely. I was like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. So, right, just be cautious with the zero DTEs, right? It's easy to say in hindsight, you should have held, you left a lot of money on the table. You don't trade those right, you will lose more than you'll win because you don't have time on your side. Like this is an easy hold on a Monday, right? These contracts aren't doing anything on a Monday. And if you stop out here, it's like what, a 10 to 12% loss, if that on Apple. So, right, just understanding, conditions, time of day, those things matter. They factor in a lot. And Fridays are not the days I'm looking to be greedy. So yeah, I'm gonna call it here. Hopefully you're able to learn a thing or two. CRQ levels get hold. Why I took this as a scalp, why I didn't hold, right? How we pulled back, held to 595.85, and we saw that upside. A lot of good insight on these days, right? Not a lot of trading going on, but just watching tape, right? You would just get rid of your sellers here, your trailers here, right? We saw the A plus long pre-market plan, 595.85. We saw AMD pull back long. We knew not to wag our tail on Tesla, right? Because it was stuck in a channel. We knew that. We knew to avoid NVIDIA. We were looking for the break under this, stuck in a channel. So not a lot of trading going on, but a lot of useful information, right? Like these are, if you're learning to trade in these conditions, man, you're surviving anything. I promise you. These are tough conditions, right? Where beginner traders are burning their accounts, they're getting hurt, they're lost, they're figuring out why they're losing money, why they're not getting a continuation, right? I've learned that on a technical standpoint, if I take a break and retest, technically that was correct, but context matters, right? So let's say I get a break and retest, and I'm like, oh well, the overall market's buying the cues are in a channel, and it's melting to the downside. That lowers my probability of this being a good high probability shot to go long. Does that make sense? So, today seeing Qs pull back and hold to 595.85 and then see buyers step in on this weekly level, that was a textbook, right? That's what you want to see. Even though it's a Friday, this was a really solid day on Apple, to be honest, a really solid day. You would have sold some into this, right? You saw a seller step in here, sell 90% here, but your runners, that's a good pop on your runners, right? So a lot of useful info here, right? Just watching tape, understanding how to avoid bad trades, right? I think, let me see, like this is why telling you your win rate will go up, your money will go up. You will be consistently profitable if you just take trades off a higher time frame key levels, understand the context of the market, avoid channels, avoid ranges, right? Less is more. Less is more. You only need a handful of trades really to make your week, to make your month, right? So this is why we've been avoiding this, right? If you've been seeing me say like avoid this, and you've been taking trades off this, and you've been losing, it's just like wow. And then I think it's worse when you do that and you win because you're getting rewarded for bad habits. And it's just going to catch up eventually, right? So we're just being patient, letting our trades come to us. We haven't touched Tesla since Monday, right? And that was a good shot. Our thesis was right. It ended up working out to the top of this range. Just crappy price action to start off the day. But look at all week. This 223.15, right? All week. This is held all week. Look how strong sellers are stepping in here on this wick, right? I'm telling you, it's a lot of bull traps in here getting hurt right now. Yeah, I'm gonna call it here. So it's been a good week. Just patience, right? Reading the market, breaking down the market, technical analysis, explaining why we were taking trades, skipping trades, how to take scalps, right? The importance of picking your contracts, right? Yesterday, right? That was a good thing to hit on. I took a really good shot on Apple, but my contracts that I traded, this was yesterday, the delta was like under 30, right? And then my contracts were barely $1, right? So those are cons I probably shouldn't even trade it yesterday. Was it a good shot and a winning trade? Yeah, but delta matters, right? The dollar like this, if it's under $1, like I don't really care to play for that. I barely played the at the money today just because they're barely $1. So, right, those things matter. The delta, the contract prices, the strike prices, right? Using options to your advantage and like leveraging them correctly is really how you make big money, right? So, hopefully this was a good week for you. You're able to learn something. You survived. You stayed afloat. You didn't end the week red. If you ended break even or green or just cash, right? This is a really good week, right? Like you're built as a trader on patience. I promise you. Once you get that skill of just being able to sit there and do nothing, it becomes easier. It becomes slower, right? You're able to read things more clearly. So I'm gonna call it here. It's a good day, right? Small day, but $1,600 in a couple of seconds. I can't complain. I'm not gonna make that working on my feet somewhere in a couple of seconds. So solid day. Hope you're able to learn a thing or two. Yeah. See. Yeah. I'm gonna call it here. All right.